Namaskar and welcome to this special presentation. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. India has emerged on the world stage as a leading voice and force towards realizing clean energy and green future. Solar energy is a vital component of India's renewable energy basket. Today, we tell you about one of India's largest solar power plant. It is not an ordinary one. It is floating on water. Simhadri Solar Project. Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. The beautiful port city and key industrial centre of modern India. From the pristine beaches to the inspiring Simachalam hills to the rich cultural diversity, the city has attracted people from all over the country and the world for ages. DD India team reached the city to discover about a unique initiative that augurs well for the promise of greener and cleaner future. A mega solar power plant that is floating over a water reservoir. The project is located on the outskirts of Visakhapatnam in NTPC Simhadri power plant.
What you are seeing is the India's largest floating solar installation as on date. That is 25 megawatt floating solar PV project of NTPC Simhadri. Now you are seeing the entire structure is completely built and it was commercially declared in the month of August 2021. This project was started in the year 2019, awarded to BHEL for an EPC contract of 110 crores. The work was started after the pandemic has slightly eased out. In the year 2020, the work was begun and it took almost 6 months to completely build this entire project. What we are seeing is the floating solar PV project of this utility scale. The advantages of floating solar to conventional solar system is it is completely ground neutral. We need not acquire any kind of land. So whatever water bodies we have, on the same water bodies we can build the entire floating solar installation. So now in the year 2019, a thought has come to NTPC that why don't we install floating solar PV projects on their reservoirs. So NTPC, all stations will be having their own reservoirs. Why don't we utilize those reservoirs for the production of electricity? The moment the thought has come, then immediately NTPC has pressed into action and 3 projects simultaneously took start. One is 25 megawatt floating solar PV project of Simhadri, second one is 100 megawatt of Ramagundam and another 22 megawatt of Kainkulam. These are the 3 flagship projects of NTPC and we are the first to venture into floating solar installation of this volume. So this project was built by BHEL. The major constituents of these projects are MV modules, MV and Vikram Solar. These 2 are the major suppliers of the PV modules, and this particular HDP floats where the actual PV module is resting, that is built by Purushottam and Quant Solar. So this is a Herculean task for us. Almost 110,000 modules have been coupled one to each other in the span of 6 months. We have built 2 launching platforms at the farther end of this reservoir where 320 modules are built, assembled, and it is launched to the reservoir where it is pulled from that location to the location where it is to be assembled. Such a fashion, entire project was built in a 6 month period of time. So now what you are seeing, there are people who are working on this platform in the daytime for cleaning the modules. Cleaning of modules is very essential because the more the PV module surface is clean, we will get more output. So this cleaning activity is a continuous process which should be done on all the time.
Simhadri Solar Plant is a flagship project of NTPC Limited. Project is a 25 megawatt floating solar plant. It is a shining example of Make in India. one of India's largest floating solar projects. The 75-acre plant is floating over a 150-acre water reservoir. The solar plant project was completed despite the prevailing challenges of the pandemic.
This 25 megawatt floating solar PV project of NTPC Simhadri has got some unique feature of anchoring and mooring system. It is completely an engineering marvel and one of its kind. Because in this particular reservoir, this was man-made reservoir spread in the area of 150 acres, where we draw water from the Eleru canal and use it for the plant purpose. So underneath there is a HDP lining built on this reservoir. So to avoid damage to the underneath lining, a unique technique of anchoring and mooring was adopted. That is, on all sides of this structure, mooring lines are brought outside the bund, where around 234 piles have been made around the periphery of this reservoir, where it is tied from the anchor blocks. So this is one of its unique kind of anchoring and mooring system, and it is the first in India to adopt such kind of anchoring and mooring system. Besides that, there is a lot of thrust on renewables also. As all of you know, Government of India has set up an ambitious target of 60 gigawatt from renewables to the NTPC by 2032, and we are very much sure that we are going to take this vision forward by keeping exploring all the opportunities available to us in the RE sector. One is the floating solar installation, and another one is venturing into hydrogen storage and other offshore wind options also. So now, if you are seeing people are working on this platform from doing some maintenance and all. So though it is a slightly Herculean task for us to walk on the structures and all, but it is completely safe, and we have adopted such a safety measures here, so it is completely safe to work on that. In the same way, Ramagundam also has gone for a 100 megawatt floating solar installation, and work on that particular project is going on, and maybe by the end of March we will be able to complete the 100 megawatt project, and that is going to be the India's in fact Asia's largest floating solar installation once it is fully operational. That is NTPC Ramagundam. This project was identified by Ministry of Power under flexibilization scheme, which shall replace the thermal power with the renewable power. So despite in 2019 when the project was started, the pandemic was really struck, and almost in the extreme pandemic situations where it is at the peak, we continue to work, and almost more than 100 and 150 people are here to make the assembly and all everything. So during the pandemic time also, everyone has put his best work to complete this project in time. And one more thing, this project was completely Make in India. We are seeing the PV modules, floaters, ropes, everything. These are all Make in India project, belongs to the Make in India project. Every item is made in India. This is one of the unique features of this project also. And finally, this project, whatever comes to NTPC in renewable sector, we would like to make it happen. And really, whatever vision has been kept by our Honorable Prime Minister, that is going to be fulfilled by NTPC. We will venture into every opportunity in RE sector and try to fulfill the target vision what we kept by 2032 of 60 gigawatt. That is going to be achieved by us in a better fashion.
Any conversation on Simhadri Solar Project is incomplete without talking about NTPC Limited. It is the leading power producer in India. Its contribution in the field of thermal power over the decades is unparalleled. With the growing challenge of climate change, the emphasis of the government is on increasing the share of renewables in the nation's energy basket. With this vision, NTPC has evolved over the years into India's largest and most diverse energy conglomerate, with increasing focus on clean, renewable energy. NTPC had roots planted way back in 1975 to accelerate power development in India. Since then, it has established itself as the dominant power major with presence in the entire value chain of power generation business. From fossil fuels, it has forayed into generating electricity via hydro, nuclear and renewable energy sources. This evolution plays a major role in lowering its carbon footprint by reducing greenhouse gas emissions. To strengthen its core business, the corporation has diversified into fields of consultancy, power trading, training of power professionals, rural electrification ash utilization and coal mining as well. The total installed capacity of NTPC is 67,907 megawatts. Owned stations include 24 coal-based, 7 gas-based, 1 hydro, 1 wind, 13 solar and 1 small hydro plant. Under joint venture, NTPC has 9 coal-based, 4 gas-based and 13 renewable energy projects. The capacity will have a diversified fuel mix by 2032. Non-fossil fuel-based generation capacity shall make up nearly 30% of NTPC's portfolio. The company is taking various steps to make its energy portfolio greener by adding significant capacities of renewable energy sources. By 2032, the company plans to have 60 gigawatts capacity through renewable energy sources, constituting nearly 45% of its overall power generation capacity.
We are supplying 1/4 of the total power to the entire country, and as of today we have 68 gigawatt capacity, and we aim to take it to 130 gigawatt by 2030. And in this, I'm happy to share that as the world is moving towards cleaner and greener sources of energy, our emphasis is also towards that. So in addition to making the power available and making it cleaner and affordable, our aim is how we can accelerate the renewable energy. And you will be glad to know that we as NTPC, we have started work on almost 4.5 gigawatt of solar energy. Another 4.5 gigawatt is under tendering and other developmental stage. In addition, very soon we will be working on 10 gigawatt on UMREPP, which is Ultra Mega Renewable Energy Park, like what we had done some decades back on the thermal side. So this will be a big push, and as you know, Honorable Prime Minister has already declared that by 2030 we will be having 500 gigawatt of non-fossil energy. So in that, like what we have done in case of thermal, we will be playing a very important role. And we have our aim, what we have set, rather revised from 30 gigawatt to 60 gigawatt by 2030. And the team is working on that, and I'm sure that not only 60 gigawatt, but we will be crossing more than this figure of 60 gigawatt, and we will be able to achieve much more than that. In case of solar, I think there is a lot of work which is going on to make the modules within India and the cells in India. We have started a new initiative of floating solar, and in that the floaters, what we have developed is a good example of making India for the new technology, new initiatives, new areas. And in that we have worked with CPET, which is in Madras, Guindy, which is the Plastic Technology Institute. And I'm happy to share with you that the cost of that floater in the beginning was almost 4 crore per megawatt, and which has now come down below 1 crore per megawatt. And very soon we will be able to bring down this cost, and this will start competing with the ground mounted, and that will be helping to serve many purposes. It will save the land, and also when we are able to harness the solar energy through this floating solar, that efficiency is also higher because the temperature is controlled. So you will be able to take more energy from these same sources. And our emphasis is that we should be purchasing and using most of the items which are manufactured in India, make in India. Most of the people still call us National Thermal Power Corporation. We have, way back, we have changed ourselves to NTPC Limited when we started our hydro project. And from that time onwards, we are only NTPC Limited. But in the last few years, it's not only the hydro, but we have started work massively in case of solar, wind, and now we are going towards the green hydrogen and mobility. So this is going to change the total paradigm, and we would be integrated energy company, not only power generation, and that too also thermal power generation. So this is our aim, to become integrated energy company, not the power only. And by 2030, our aim is that 50% of our power generation should be from the non-fossil. And in that direction, there is a concerted efforts which are going on, and the solid work which is on this ground, as well as in the planning for the new capacity is continuing.
Innovative mega projects like Simhadri floating solar plant are part of India's ambitious climate goals to balance the growing energy needs and make shift towards cleaner sources of energy. India is aiming for nearly 500 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity by 2030 and net zero carbon emissions by 2070. The focus of the government on enhancing India's renewable energy capacity is evident with developments on the ground. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has, in various global platforms, both argued in favour of energy justice for developing countries and emphasised upon ambitious targets for India in the context of climate change. Between 2014 and 2021, renewable energy capacity in India has increased by 250%. Between 2016 and 2021, renewable energy capacity grew by 17% every year in the country. India aims for 100 gigawatt solar capacity by 2022. Today, India is ranked 4th globally on renewable energy capacity. India ranks 5th in the world in installed solar capacity. By 2030, 50% of India's energy needs will be met by renewable energy sources.
India is devoting great importance to solar energy. Our gains in solar energy ensure a stronger fight against climate change, a boost to our entrepreneurs. Work is also underway to connect our hard-working farmers with the solar sector, make our Annadata also Urjadata. Under PM Kusum Yojana, over 20 lakh solar power pumps are being given to farmers. In the last 6 years, India's solar energy capacity is up 13 times. India has also brought the world together to the International Solar Alliance.
To ensure energy security for all, India and France came together to start the International Solar Alliance in 2015. So far, 102 countries have become part of this ambitious alliance. United States announced its decision to join the alliance in the COP26 Climate Summit in Glasgow. With leadership role in initiatives like ISA, India has emerged as a leading force in the direction of greener future. Simhadri solar plant is not the end of India's solar energy quest. In fact, it's just the beginning. Efforts are on to further expand solar energy capacity. NTPC's new solar plant in Ramagundam, Telangana is a shining example of this aspiration. Once ready, it will be India's largest floating solar plant with a power generation capacity of 100 megawatts. NTPC Ramagundam has now become India's largest floating solar PV project, with the latest commercial operation of 20 megawatt in December of 2021 of its 100 megawatt floating solar PV project. The floating project currently has a total operating capacity of 37.5 megawatt, which is soon to increase. The project is unique in the sense that all electrical equipments, including inverter, transformer, HT panel, are also on floating ferrocement platforms. The anchoring of the system is bottom anchoring through deadweight concrete blocks.
100 megawatt floating solar PV project is being developed on 450 acres of water body in the reservoir, and this project is divided into 40 blocks, and each block consists of 2.5 megawatt array and one floating platform which is housing the major electrical equipment. This 2.5 megawatt is being pooled into a local pooling station that generates 25 megawatt. Such 4 local pooling stations output is being transmitted power to switchyard through underground cabling. We will be using 145 megawatt peak solar panels in this project, that is 4.5 lakh solar panels. Major equipment, that is the transformer, solar panels, switchgear units, cables, everything is used Make in India equipment.
What floating solar project is that mainly it's the anchoring mooring system. That is, the anchoring mooring system is the heart of the floating solar project. Here we implemented this anchoring mooring system with dead weights. Means that is dead weights through bottom anchoring system. The most unique feature of this 100 megawatt floating solar project is the ferro-cement floating platforms. These ferro-cement floating platforms are house the major electrical equipments like inverters, transformers, HT panels. This feature is the unique concept lies. One more unique feature of this 100 megawatt floating solar project is all the electrical equipments like inverter, transformer, HT panel are housed on these ferro-cement platforms, which are already we are standing on this platform. The one more unique feature that is, you can see on the background, all the cables, associated cables like DC and AC cables are also lying on the water. The floating solar projects will play a key role in the renewable energy sector. We can say that the main issue of the renewable energy projects will be land. For the floating solar project, there will be no issue of land. While we go to the benefits of the floating solar project, as previously we discussed, land means the main criteria, that is land. We can absolute the land and we can put on the water bodies. The main advantage of the floating solar project is there will be an excess generation of around 4 to 5% compared to the ground mounted solar projects. This excess generation is due to the ambient temperature maintained at these modules will be slightly lesser than compared to the ground mounted projects.
Samhadri Solar Plant and Ramagundam Plant represent India's growing renewable energy capacity. Successful construction and activation of such mega projects are vital for India to meet its climate goals and achieve self-reliance in energy needs. With that, we conclude this special presentation. Namaskar.